Very heartbreaking news. Loudly crying faced the painful secret of btsv. Loudly crying faced the heartbreaking truth behind his smile. There is a specific kind of loneliness that comes from being invisible. Imagine standing in a room full of people, watching your friends step into the light, while you are told to stay in the shadows. Imagine knowing you have a voice, a face, and a name, but being forbidden to show them to the world. This was the reality for Kim Taehyung in 2013. Before the world knew him as the charismatic V, he was the hidden member of BTS. While the other members filmed logs, interacted with fans, and built their identities, Taehyung had to hide. He would stand just out of the frame, watching, waiting, and silently asking himself a terrifying question. Will I actually debut, or will I be cut at the last moment? This fear was not unfounded. In the cutthroat world of K-pop, trainees are dismissed every day. For Taehyung, this period was not just a strategy. It was a test of his mental fortitude that sowed the seeds of a deep, complex emotional journey. To understand the depth of V, we must look back to the boy named Kim Taehyung, who ran through the fields of Gyeocheong. He did not come from wealth. He came from the soil of the countryside. Raised largely by his grandmother, whom he considered his second mother, Taehyung grew up in a humble environment. Fans often recount the story of his expensive jacket, a story that is both heartwarming and heartbreaking. According to various media sources and Taehyung's own recollections, his mother bought him a pricey North Face jacket before he moved to Seoul, not because they had money to burn, but because she was terrified that the city kids would bully her son for being poor. That jacket was a shield, a symbol of a family sacrificing everything so their child could stand tall. It was a heavy weight for a teenager to carry, the weight of his family's pride and their financial sacrifice. His entry into big hit entertainment was a twist of fate. He had not intended to audition. He went to support a friend. But when the judges pointed at him, destiny shifted. However, passing the audition was only the beginning of a grueling war. Taehyung was raw. He was not a trained dancer or a polished vocalist. During the early trainee days, he often felt behind. He watched the precise movements of J-Hope and the rap skills of RM, and felt a creeping sense of inadequacy. There were nights of physical exhaustion where his body simply wanted to give up, but his mind refused. He had to learn to dance from zero, pushing his limbs to move in ways they never had before. The fear of being the weak link is a powerful motivator, and for Taehyung, it was the fuel that burned through the nights in the practice room. When V finally debuted, the world fell in love with his unique charm. He was labeled as 4D, a term used for K-pop idols who are quirky or eccentric. While this label brought him attention, it also became a cage. It simplified a complex human being into a caricature. People laughed at his antics, but few looked deeper to see the sensitive artist underneath. This conflict between his public persona and his private self would eventually lead to one of the most painful moments of his life. The year 2016 was a turning point. BTS was exploding in popularity with blood, sweat and tears. But inside, V was crumbling. While he was smiling for cameras and performing on stage, he was carrying a secret that was tearing him apart. His grandmother, the woman who had raised him for 14 years, had passed away. For weeks, V told no one outside his immediate circle. He had to suppress his grief, swallow his tears, and perform energetic dance routines while his heart was shattering. It wasn't until a fan meeting, the third muster, that the dam finally broke. Standing before thousands of fans, V finally let the mask fall. He cried, sharing the news of his loss. It was a moment of raw, unfiltered humanity. He admitted that he had felt like he was falling apart, feeling the pressure to be perfect while dealing with a loss so profound. This was the moment the world realized that V was not just an idol. He was a grieving grandson trying to survive. But the struggles did not end with grief. As BTS climbed to the summit of the music world, a new enemy appeared: burnout. In 2018, the pressure became suffocating. During the now famous Mama Awards speech, the group revealed they had considered disbanding. V was seen breaking down, sobbing uncontrollably. It was a glimpse into the sheer terror of their reality. They were the biggest band in the world, yet they were drowning in expectations. Later, V would express these feelings in his music. The song Blue and Grey, which he helped write, is a haunting confession of depression and burnout. The lyrics speak of a grey rhino coming towards him, a metaphor for a looming crisis he could see but not stop. He sang about just wanting to be happy, revealing a deep-seated loneliness that fame could not cure. In interviews verified by major outlets, V admitted to asking himself, "Why is this happening to me?" and feeling an emptiness despite the success. He faced the classic artist's curse, being surrounded by millions of people, yet feeling completely alone. What makes V's story so compelling is not that he conquered these feelings, but that he learned to live with them and transform them into art. He stopped trying to be the bubbly character the world expected and began to show his true colors. Sometimes quiet, sometimes somber, always authentic. This shift confused some, but for those who truly looked, it was a sign of maturity. He found solace in photography, in jazz, in painting, creating a world where Kim Taehyung could exist outside of V. He created the phrase, "I purple you," Borahi, giving a definition to the love between BTS and ARMY. It means, to trust and love for a long time. This wasn't a marketing slogan, it was a plea for connection. It was V saying, "I will trust you with my true self, so please trust me." Even with his solo debut Layover, V chose to swim against the tide. In an industry obsessed with high-energy pop bangers and complex choreography, V released a slow, R&B, jazz-inspired album. He filmed music videos where he was simply walking, swimming, or looking at the sky. It was a declaration of freedom. He was telling the world that he no longer needed to prove anything. He was comfortable in his own skin, comfortable with a slower pace. He was no longer running to catch up. He was walking his own path. However, just as the world thought they had V figured out as the soft, artistic soul, he shocked everyone again. When it came time for his mandatory military service, V applied for the Special Duty Team, SDT, one of the toughest, most physically demanding units in the South Korean military. Fans were stunned. Why would the artist who loves jazz and flowers choose counter-terrorism training? This decision is the ultimate testament to his character. It shows a man who refuses to be boxed in by perception. It reveals a hidden steel beneath the velvet. He wanted to push himself, to test his limits away from the cameras, to grow not as an idol, but as a man. Reports from the military, though limited, suggest he is thriving, earning respect not because of his fame, but because of his grit. People love Kim Taehyung not because he is the most handsome face in the world. They love him because his beauty is flawed and real. They love him because he showed them that it is okay to be sad. He showed them that you can be weird, you can be quiet, and you can be different, and still be worthy of love. He taught his fans that growing up means accepting the gray parts of life, not just the bright ones. He is the boy who wore the expensive jacket so he wouldn't be bullied, who became the man wearing a military uniform to protect his country. His future remains a beautiful mystery. He speaks of wanting to be a good father one day, of living a life filled with simple happiness. But before that, he has a legacy to continue. V has evolved from the hidden member standing in the dark to a beacon of light for millions. He has faced the crushing weight of poverty, the grief of loss, the suffocation of burnout, and the terror of self-doubt. And through it all, he has remained kind. As the screen fades, imagine Kim Taehyung today. He is likely looking up at the same sky we are, perhaps humming a jazz tune. He is no longer the invisible boy. He is a warrior of his own life. The silence he once feared is now his friend. And in that silence, if you listen closely, you can hear the message of his journey. You do not need to shine brightly every single second to be a star. Sometimes, just enduring, just existing, and just being yourself is the bravest thing you can do. And for that, Kim Taehyung commands not just our love, but our deepest, most quiet respect.